Hi, it's Becky, the keto. Um, here for my second AMA. Um, so let's get into it. I couldn't find a top five for this week, so I don't know if there are any, but it'd be nice if there was a link for them somewhere. Um, but I did get some questions. So, first question was from Darth Luigi. It says, "Do you like avocado?" Really? You know the answer to this. I normally don't like avocado. I like a little bit of guacamole sometimes if I'm in the mood. I also just recently remembered that I like avocado in sushi too. Um, so I've actually got some wraps, and I was gonna sometime this week rice some cauliflower and make some sushi with some avocado. But I also recently discovered that I do like avocado if it's mixed into my protein shake. It makes it smooth and creamy, and it's very tasty, and it doesn't taste like avocado. That's the important part. Um, so yeah, next question. Do you like cats? And can you say meow meow on the video? Meow, meow. Um, I like cats, I'm just allergic to them. So I can't have them, and I have to dose myself up with allergy medication if I go to my friend's house to hang out with her because she has cats and her cats love me. And so I spend most of the time that I'm there, like, they sit on my lap and purr at me for hours. It's like they have this detection, like radar, where they can determine that, oh, hey, this person's allergic to me. I must get as close as possible to them as I can. And so, yeah, that's usually what happens. But I like cats. I usually have to pet cats when I meet them, and then I usually have to wash my hands immediately afterwards so that I don't rub my eyes with, whatever's on their fur that I'm allergic to. Yeah, because then it's just not pretty. Um, Sonox, who's your favorite superhero? Well, if you haven't been looking at the posts on my wall there, it's Wonder Woman. And the reason for that is that, she was just always there when I was growing up. I was too young to watch the original Wonder Woman broadcasts with Linda Carter. But we did have reruns, and I did watch it, when I was a little girl and I was 6, and I know I just wanted to grow up and be her or Cyndi Lauper. But yeah, so my favorite superhero is definitely Wonder Woman. She's awesome and strong, and she kicks ass, and she does good stuff. Let's see, next one. Jackpot Clown says, "Who are your top three crushes on Photocracy?" Really? My husband is one because he's good looking. Um, let's see. Who else? I don't know. I don't think I'm prepared to answer that question. Um, Fortunately, you can have a second question there for me, which is, if you had to listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be? I don't know. This is a difficult one. Possibly, I would listen to a classical piece. I really like something by who is it? Canon in D. I like that one. It's nice. It's peaceful. It's hard to really get sick of it. It's nice. Anything that's pop, alternative, more modern, you really get tired of after a while. There's this one Brian Eno song that it's basically the entire disc that it was recorded to is just one long song, and the only reason they stopped recording it at some point is because it could go on for like literally hours and hours and hours and days without ever being the same or repeating. Um, it was made with like just all sorts of different noises set on different loops, so it would like pop and crackle and do dingly things and all of that, which would be interesting. But you might get sick of that too. You never know. Um, okay, so those are the questions that I was asked. But now, because it is Lame Joke Wednesday, I am going to tell my second favorite pun. All right? So, once upon a time, there was this woman who, when she was a teenager, she became pregnant with twins. Now, she lived in Spain, and being a good Catholic lady, she decided that she would go ahead and proceed with the pregnancy, but knowing that she didn't have the resources available to raise children herself, she put it up for adoption. So she did so, and both of these twin children that she gave birth to, they went to different families, but it was a closed adoption. She didn't know where they went, what they did, anything like that. So she made sure to leave her contact information with the adoption agency. And everywhere she went over the next few years, she kept updating it with the current, how to contact her, where to go. After about 20 years, she had gone to university. She had studied to become a doctor. She had a good career. She was married. And then she gets a phone call out of the blue, and it is one of her children who says he is going to the university in the same town that she is currently living in, and would she like to meet for a cup of coffee. She is absolutely overjoyed. She gets to meet this child that she's not spent a single day without thinking about. And she gets to meet him face to face and see what he's like. So they meet for coffee. It's a little bit awkward at first, but then, as he opens up and as she opens up and they get to know each other, they realize that they kind of quite like each other. They click, like they can be friends, but more than that, they're sort of parents at this point. So she finds out that he's studying there in that town. He has a girlfriend. She says, well, why don't you come over for dinner? You can meet my husband, and we can have a meal together. He says, oh, that's great. She says, what about your brother? And he says, well, he was adopted by a different family. That family moved to Morocco shortly after, and we've had very minimal contact with him. So I don't know how you would be able to get a hold of him. He was named Amal, and he went to live far away, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. And so she goes home and she tells her son that she met, or her husband, that she met her son Juan, and that Juan has a girlfriend and he's going to college and that they're going to come for dinner. But while she's telling this, she begins to cry. And her husband says, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she says, well, I've been able to see one son, but I haven't been able to see my other son. And he says, well, they're twins, dear. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. Two jokes for the price of one, right? Okay, so after Quasimodo died, falling from the tower of Notre Dame Cathedral, the Bishop of Notre Dame decided that he needed a new bell ringer because nobody could do the job quite like Quasimodo had. So he put up a poster saying that he needed a new bell ringer. He also spread the word verbally because during that time period there weren't a lot of literate bell ringers in France. So he went back to the cathedral, did his priestly whatever it is that they do, and there was a knock on his door the next day. He opened the door, and there was a man with no arms. And the man introduces himself and says he's there to ring the bell. And the bishop, of course, is just perplexed. He's standing there wondering how this guy even knocked on his door, let alone how he's going to ring a bell. He can't hold on to the rope and pull it because he's got no arms. So the guy says, I can do it. Just give me a chance. Let me show you what I've got. So he says, all right, we'll go up to the bell tower. You can show me how you ring a bell, and then, I'll tell you whether or not you can get the job. So they go up there, and they go up to the bell tower. The guy doesn't approach the ropes at all. He goes up to a bell, and then he backs up all the way as far as he can and takes a running start and runs right at the bell and whacks his head into the bell. And then he takes off and runs for another bell and whacks his head into the bell. And then he takes off and runs and whacks his head into another bell. So he's doing this. He's going from bell to bell to bell, just whacking his face right into the bell each time. And the bishop is amazed. He stands there slack-jawed thinking, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful music. How is this guy doing this? This is amazing. And so he says, stop, 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 you've got the job. And the guy stops, gets a little bit woozy, and he falls right out of the bell tower, down onto the cobblestones below. So the bishop says, oh crap, another one. And he runs down to the street where a crowd has gathered. And this crowd has gathered around the body of this man who had fallen out of the bell tower. And they say, oh my gosh, Father, who is this man? And he says, I don't know, but his face rang a bell. So the next day, there's another knock on his door. It's a man standing there saying, my brother was the man who fell out of your tower, and I would like to replace him as your bell ringer. And the guy says, it's not really that safe up there. I need to put in some safety railing or something because people keep falling out, but I'll give you a trial. I really do need a bell ringer. Let's go see what you've got. So they go up there, and the guy goes and he starts pulling on the ropes because he's got two arms, and he's pulling from one to the other. He's not swinging around like Quasimodo did, but you know, he can do some tumbling, you know, on the catwalk. But as he's going along, the bishop says, well, he's doing a pretty good job. He can ring these bells pretty well. And he's just about to offer the guy position when the guy trips over one of the ropes, falls out of the bell tower, tumbles down to the cobblestones below. The bishop's just really going to need to put on some safety railings. So he goes down to the street below, sees the crowd gathered around, and they say, who was this man? Who was this man? He says, I don't know, but he's a dead ringer for his brother. Have a great Wednesday, guys. Bye.